Taesung pushed open the door to his apartment and froze. A woman stood in his living room, but she was not human. She was tall, incredibly tall, at least 7 feet. Her skin shimmered like oil on water, shifting between purple and silver with each movement. She wore armor that looked alive, breathing and pulsing with soft light. 2 weapons hung at her sides, glowing with energy that made the air hum. But what struck Taesung most was her face. She was beautiful in a way that hurt to look at. Sharp cheekbones, large eyes that gleamed like polished metal, and an expression of absolute confidence. "Lee Taesung," she said. Her voice was deep and musical. "I am Commander Era of the Velrathian Imperial Fleet. We need to talk." Taesung dropped his backpack. His hand fumbled for his phone. "Who are you? How did you get in here?" "I walked through your wall," Era said simply. "Your locks are primitive. Please sit down. This will be difficult to understand." "I'm calling the police," Taesung said, his voice shaking. Ara moved faster than his eyes could follow. One moment she was across the room. The next she stood inches from him, her hand gently but firmly on his wrist. "Please," she said. "Your life depends on this conversation. So does your planet." Something in her eyes made him stop. It was not a threat. It was worry. 5 minutes, Taesung said. "Then I'm leaving." Ara nodded and stepped back. She touched a device on her wrist, and a hologram appeared in the air between them. It showed Earth from space, then zoomed out to reveal hundreds of dots surrounding the planet. "These are ships," Ara explained. 3 different alien species, all searching for the same thing. "Searching for you? Me? Why would aliens want me? I write software. I'm nobody special." "You are very special," Ara said. The hologram changed, showing a swirling pattern of light centered on a small building. Taesung's building. "This is quantum energy. Every living thing produces it, but yours is different. You have something we call the resonance. It appears once every 10,000 years in a random being on a random world." Taesung sat down heavily on his couch. "What does it do?" "It makes you lucky," Ara said. "Impossibly lucky. You can change probability itself. Most people with the resonance never know they have it. They simply live charmed lives. But when the resonance is strong like yours, it can be trained, weaponized." Taesung laughed, but it sounded hollow. "This is crazy. I'm not lucky. I work 60 hours a week. My girlfriend left me. My car broke down last month." "Your girlfriend left you the day before she was arrested for fraud," Ara said quietly. "Your car broke down 1 block from a mechanic who fixed it for half price. You have been in 3 accidents that should have killed you. You walked away from all of them without a scratch." Taesung's mouth went dry. She was right. He had always thought he was just ordinary lucky, nothing special. "The 3 powers hunting you are the Velrathian Empire, my people, the Kravik Collective, a hive mind species, and the Asiri Dominion, telepathic merchants. Each wants to control you, use you to tip the balance of galactic power. And you?" Taesung asked. "What do you want?" Ara was silent for a long moment. "I was sent to recruit you, or if you refused, to kill you before the others could take you." Taesung jumped to his feet. "Get out. Get out now or I'll—" "But I will not," Ara interrupted. "I have watched you for 3 days. You help your elderly neighbor carry groceries. You give money to homeless people. You work hard and hurt no one. My orders are wrong. Killing you would be murder, not honor. So what now?" Taesung asked, his heart pounding. "Now I give you a choice," Ara said. "Come with me. Learn to control your power. Help my people in their war. Or stay here and hope the others do not find you. But I warn you, they are very close." As if her words had summoned them, the apartment window exploded inward. Glass sprayed across the room. Taesung threw his arms up, but no glass touched him. Every shard had somehow missed. Through the broken window came 3 creatures. They looked like giant insects with black armor plating and too many legs. Their eyes glowed red and their mouths were full of curved teeth. "Kraviks," Ara hissed. She drew both weapons in a single smooth motion. "Stay behind me." The creatures rushed forward. Ara moved like lightning. Her weapons fired beams of light that cut through the air. 1 Kravik fell, its armor smoking. Another leaped at her, and she caught it mid-jump, throwing it through Taesung's kitchen wall. The 3rd Kravik ignored Ara and came straight for Taesung. He backed away, tripped over his coffee table, and fell. The creature loomed over him, raising a blade-like arm for the killing strike. Taesung closed his eyes and thought desperately. "Please miss. Please miss. Please miss." The Kravik's arm came down. It struck the floor 6 inches from Tae-sung's head, stuck in the wood. The creature struggled to pull it free. Ara's weapon beam punched through its head. The apartment fell silent except for Tae-sung's heavy breathing. Ara quickly checked each creature, then turned to him. She was not even breathing hard. "Are you hurt?" she asked. Tae-sung looked at the Kravik's blade still embedded in his floor. It should have killed him. It had been aimed perfectly. But at the last moment it had simply missed. "I made it miss," he whispered. "I made it happen." "Yes," Ara said. "Your power protected you, but it was instinct, uncontrolled. The next attack will be larger, smarter. You need training." A knock at the door made them both turn. "Tae-sung, are you okay?" "I heard crashing." Tae-sung recognized the voice. Jiwoo, his neighbor. They had known each other since childhood. "She lived 3 doors down. Do not let her in," Ara said urgently. More may be coming, but the door was already opening. Jiwoo had a spare key for emergencies. She stepped inside, saw the destroyed apartment, the dead creatures, and Ara's weapons. Her eyes rolled back and she collapsed. Ara caught her before she hit the ground. "Your friend?" "Since we were kids," Tae-sung said. He felt numb. "Everything was happening too fast. We must move," Ara said. "More will come." "Bring her. I have a safe place." "Wait," Tae-sung said. "If I come with you, if I learn to use this power, what happens to Earth?" "To my home?" Ara looked at him with those strange, beautiful eyes. "That depends on you," she said. "And what you choose to become." Outside, sirens wailed. Tae-sung looked at his ruined apartment, at the unconscious Jiwoo, at the alien warrior who had just saved his life. His ordinary life was over. He had a feeling it had been over the moment he was born with this strange gift. "Okay," he said. "Let's go." Ara touched her wrist device. The air shimmered around them. Tae-sung felt a strange pulling sensation like being squeezed through a too small space. When his vision cleared, they were no longer in his apartment. They stood in a large room filled with technology he could not begin to understand. Screens floated in the air. Lights pulsed in patterns. Everything hummed with power. "Welcome," Ara said, "to the first day of your new life." Tae-sung looked down at Jiwoo, still unconscious in his arms. He thought about the creatures that had tried to kill him, about the ship surrounding Earth, about his power that he did not understand. His new life had begun whether he wanted it or not. Now he just had to survive it. Jiwoo woke up screaming. Tae-sung held her shoulders gently. It's okay. You're safe." She blinked at him, then at the strange room around them. Her breathing was fast and panicked. "What happened? Where are we?" "Those things, those monsters, they were real," Tae-sung said quietly. All of it was real. Ara stood nearby, giving them space. She had removed her helmet, revealing hair that moved like liquid silver. "Your friend needs water." And answers. Over the next hour, they explained everything to Jiwoo. She listened in silence, her hands gripping a cup of water so tightly her knuckles turned white. When they finished, she was quiet for a long time. "So aliens are real," she finally said. "And they want to kidnap or kill my best friend. And you," she pointed at Ara, "are one of them, but you decided to help instead." "That is correct," Ara said. Jiwoo laughed, a slightly hysterical sound. "I should have stayed in med school. This is insane." "You can go back," Tae-sung said. "Ara can return you safely. You don't have to be part of this." Jiwoo looked at him like he was stupid. "Are you kidding? You think I'm leaving you alone with all this? We've been friends since we were 7 years old." "I'm not going anywhere." Ara smiled slightly. "She has courage." "That is good. You will both need it." The next few hours were overwhelming. Ara showed them the facility they were in, hidden deep beneath Seoul. It was a Velrothian outpost disguised and shielded from detection. She explained the 3 alien powers and their war. "The Velrothian Empire values strength and honor," she said. "We are warriors. We respect those who can fight and win. The Kravik Collective is different. They are a hive mind. Billions of individuals, all controlled by overmind queens. They value unity and efficiency. To them, individuals are just cells in a larger body." "And the Osiri Dominion?" Tae-sung asked. "Merchants and telepaths," Ara said with distaste. "They control through money and mental manipulation. They own most of the galaxy's trade routes. They are powerful, but they are cowards who let others fight while they profit." "And they all want Tae-sung because of his power," Jiwoo said. "Yes. The resonance is rare and powerful. In the wrong hands, it could end the balance of power." Wars would begin. Billions would die. Taesung felt sick. Because of me? Because of what you can do, Ara corrected. But you are not responsible for their greed. Can you show us? Jiwoo asked. His power, I mean. How does it work? Ara nodded. She drew a small device and tossed it toward Taesung. Catch, he reached out instinctively. The device was flying too fast at the wrong angle. He should have missed it. But somehow, impossibly, his hand was exactly where it needed to be. He caught it perfectly. Try again, Ara said, but this time do not think. Do not calculate. Just believe you will catch it. She threw it again, faster, from a harder angle. Taesung did not think. He just reached out knowing he would catch it. And he did. That is probability manipulation at its most basic level, Ara explained. You make unlikely things become likely. The more you practice, the more you can control. Eventually, you can affect much larger events. Like making that Kravik miss when it attacked me, Taesung said. Exactly. Your instinct saved you. Training will let you do it consciously. Jiwoo was staring at Taesung like she had never seen him before. This is why you always won at games when we were kids. Why you never got seriously hurt even when we did stupid things. I never knew, Taesung said softly. I just thought I was lucky. You were not lucky, Ara said. Luck is random. Your power bends reality itself toward favorable outcomes. It is not chance. It is will made manifest. Over the next week, Ara trained Taesung while Jiwoo watched and asked questions. She approached it like studying medicine, taking notes, observing patterns. Her scientific mind tried to make sense of something that defied science. Ara taught Taesung to feel probability fields around him. Close your eyes, she instructed. Reach out with your mind. Feel the possibilities. At first, Taesung felt nothing. Then gradually he began to sense something. It was like standing at a crossroads with countless paths branching in every direction. Some paths glowed brighter than others. Those were more likely to happen. Now reach for a dim path, Ara said, one that should not happen. Pull it forward. Make it real. She rolled a dice across the table. Taesung watched it tumble. He could feel 6 possibilities, 6 faces it might land on. The 6th was brightest, most likely. The 1 was dim, barely visible. He reached for that dim path with his mind and pulled. The dice landed on 1. Again, Ara commanded. They practiced for hours, rolling dice, flipping coins, dropping objects, and making them land in specific places. Slowly, Taesung's control improved. What had been random became predictable. What had been impossible became merely unlikely. And unlikely things happened constantly. But there were problems. Sometimes when Taesung focused too hard, strange things happened. A light bulb exploded. A screen flickered and died. Once all the coins in his pocket flew out and scattered across the floor. Your power is growing, Ara explained. But you lack control. You are like a child with adult strength. You must learn precision. Jiwoo noticed something else. Your temperature keeps changing, she said one day, pressing her hand to his forehead. And your heart rate? When you use your power, your whole body reacts. She ran tests using medical equipment Ara provided. The results shocked her. Your brain activity is off the charts. And your cells, they're changing, evolving in real time. Is that dangerous? Taesung asked, worried. I don't know, Jiwoo admitted. You're the first human to do this. There's no baseline to compare to. One evening, as they rested, Taesung asked Ara about her life. What made you become a warrior? Ara was silent for a moment. On my world, everyone is a warrior. We are bred for combat, trained from birth. I have known nothing else. I have fought in 16 campaigns across 12 worlds. I have killed more beings than I can count. Do you regret it? Jiwoo asked softly. Some of it, Ara admitted. I thought I was bringing honor to my family, glory to the Empire. But the more I saw, the more I wondered if we were really the heroes of our story, or just another conquering force wrapped in pretty words. Is that why you're helping us? Taesung asked. Partly, but also because you are different. Most beings, when they learn they have power, immediately think of how to use it. You asked what would happen to Earth. You thought of others first. That is rare. Worth protecting. Taesung felt his face grow warm. Jiwoo noticed and smiled. On the 8th day, alarms blared through the facility. Ara's expression went hard. We have visitors. They rushed to a screen showing the surface above them. 3 black vehicles had stopped outside. Men in suits emerged, but they moved wrong. Too smooth. Too coordinated. A Siri, Ara said. They have found us. They must have been scanning for resonance energy. Your training sessions gave us away. What do we do? Taesung asked. We cannot fight here. This facility is not designed for combat, and if we fight in Seoul, civilians will die. Ara's hands moved across controls. I am contacting someone who might help. Earth has more going on than you know. What do you mean? Jiwoo asked. Before Ara could answer, a new face appeared on the screen. A Korean man in military uniform, perhaps 40 years old, with hard eyes and scars on his hands. Commander Ara, he said in Korean. I was wondering when you'd call. Captain Yoon Dae-ho, Ara replied in the same language. I need extraction. 2 civilians and myself, a Siri agents above my position. We've been tracking them, Dae-ho said. Stand by. My team is 2 minutes out. The screen went dark. Taesung stared at where the man's face had been. Who was that? How did he know about aliens? That, Ara said, checking her weapons, is a longer story, one he can tell you himself. But the short version is this. Earth's governments have known about alien life for 5 years. They have been preparing, secretly, 5 years, Jiwoo said, shocked. And they told no one? Would you have believed them? Ara asked. Before today? Jiwoo had no answer to that. Ara handed them each a small device. If we get separated, press this. It will bring help. Stay close to me. Do exactly what I say. And Taesung, if you see a clear moment to use your power, use it. Trust your instincts. They heard explosions from above. Gunfire. Shouting. Then silence. Let's move, Ara said. They ran through corridors, following Ara. She moved with absolute confidence, never hesitating. They reached a stairwell just as the doors above them burst open. Soldiers in Korean military gear rushed down. Leading them was Captain Dae-ho. He was shorter than Ara but moved with the same deadly grace. He looked at Taesung with sharp, evaluating eyes. So you're the one causing all this trouble, he said. Then he smiled. Welcome to the war, citizen. Let's get you somewhere safe. As they evacuated, Taesung looked back at the facility that had been his home for a week. Smoke rose from the surface. He heard sirens. His life kept getting more complicated. But looking at Ara, at Jiwoo, at these soldiers risking their lives for him, he felt something else too. He was not alone. And maybe, just maybe, he could learn to control this power. To protect instead of being protected, it was time to stop being lucky. It was time to be strong. The military convoy raced through Seoul's streets at midnight. Taesung sat in an armored vehicle between Jiwoo and Ara, while Captain Dae-ho sat across from them, studying them with those sharp eyes. I have many questions, Dae-ho said. But first, are either of you hurt? We're fine, Taesung answered. Jiwoo nodded in agreement. Good. We're taking you to a secure location. Once there, I'll explain everything. He glanced at Ara. Though I suspect you already know most of it, Commander. Ara inclined her head. I know your government has been aware of us. I did not know the extent of your preparations. We've been busy, Dae-ho said with a slight smile. They drove for an hour, leaving the city behind. Finally, they arrived at what looked like an old military base in the mountains. But as they descended into underground levels, Taesung realized this was something far more advanced. The facility was enormous. Soldiers trained in vast chambers. Scientists worked at stations filled with technology that looked half human, half alien. In one room, Taesung glimpsed a captured alien ship being studied. Welcome to Sanctuary 1, Dae-ho said. The UN's first xeno-defense facility. We have 6 of these worldwide. This is where we prepare for first contact. Though I'll admit we expected it to be more diplomatic and less violent. They entered a briefing room. Dae-ho pulled up a holographic display similar to Ara's. It showed Earth surrounded by blinking dots. 5 years ago, one of our satellites detected something impossible. A ship not human. We tracked it, captured it, and found the pilot. A Velrathian scout. He nodded to Ara. One of your people, though not you. The pilot was wounded, dying. Before death, he told us the truth. We are not alone. The galaxy is full of life, and it's been watching us. Why didn't you tell everyone? Jiwoo asked. Because of this, Dae-ho said. The display changed, showing riots, panic, cities burning. These are simulations. Every model we ran showed the same thing. Immediate global panic. Economic collapse. Religious chaos. We decided to prepare first, reveal later. We were supposed to have 10 more years. But I changed that, Taesung said quietly. You didn't do anything wrong. Deho assured him. Your power awakened naturally. We've been monitoring resonance energy for 3 years. Ever since the dying scout told us about it. We detected your awakening 6 months ago. We were planning to contact you quietly. Then Commander Ara arrived and the situation accelerated. 6 months ago, Taesung repeated. That's when the dream started. Everyone looked at him. What dreams? Ara asked. I kept dreaming about stars, about being in space, reaching out and touching things that weren't there. I thought it was stress from work. But it started exactly 6 months ago. Jiwoo touched his arm. You never told me. I thought they were just dreams. They were your mind preparing itself, Ara said. The resonance was awakening. Your subconscious felt it before your conscious mind understood. Deho continued his briefing. We've identified 3 major powers. The Velrathian Empire, the Kravik Collective, and the Asiri Dominion. All 3 are now in Earth's orbit. All 3 want you, Mr. Lee. This has become a diplomatic crisis of unprecedented scale. What do they want you to do? Taesung asked. The UN Security Council is divided. Some want to hide you, protect you at all costs. Others want to negotiate, trade you for technology and protection. A few want to study you, see if we can replicate your power. That last option is off the table, Ara said coldly, her hand moving toward her weapon. Agreed, Deho said firmly. I made that very clear to the Council. Mr. Lee is a human being, not a resource to exploit. That said, we need to make a decision soon. The 3 powers won't wait forever. What do you recommend? Taesung asked. Deho looked at him with respect. I think we should reject all 3 offers. I think Earth should protect you ourselves while you train. Then when you're ready, we negotiate from a position of strength. We show them that humanity can stand on its own. That's incredibly dangerous, Ara said. Earth's weapons are primitive compared to galactic standards. If all 3 powers decided to attack together, you would be destroyed in hours. Maybe, Deho admitted. But we're not as helpless as you think. We've been reverse engineering that captured ship for 5 years. We have weapons now. Shields. Even a few fighters based on Velrathian designs. Stolen designs, Ara said, but she smiled slightly. Borrowed, Deho corrected. Besides, we have something no other species has. We have Taesung, and I think his power might be our real defense. All eyes turned to Taesung. He felt the weight of their expectations. I don't know if I'm strong enough. Not yet, Deho agreed. But you will be. Commander Ara is the finest warrior in the Velrathian fleet. She'll train you. We'll provide resources, security, and support. In exchange, when you're ready, you help defend Earth, and if I say no, Taesung asked, then we protect you anyway, Deho said simply. Because it's the right thing to do. But I think you'll say yes. I've read your file. You volunteer at shelters. You give to charity. You help people. This is just a much bigger scale. Taesung looked at Jiwoo. She squeezed his hand. I'm with you. Whatever you decide, he looked at Ara. She nodded. I will train you to the best of my ability. You have potential I have rarely seen. Okay, Taesung said. I'll do it. I'll learn to control this power. I'll help defend Earth, but on one condition. Name it, Deho said. Eventually, you tell everyone the truth. No more secrets. Humanity deserves to know what's out there. Deho considered this, then nodded. Agreed. Once the immediate crisis is resolved, we'll begin public disclosure. You have my word, they shook hands. Taesung felt the weight of the decision settle onto his shoulders. But he also felt something else, purpose. For the first time in his life, he mattered, really mattered. Over the next 2 weeks, Taesung's training intensified. Ara pushed him harder than before. She taught him combat basics, not because he would be a warrior like her, but because combat focused the mind. Your power is mental, she explained, drilling him in hand-to-hand techniques. If your mind is undisciplined, your power is undisciplined. We train the body to train the mind. Deho's soldiers trained alongside him. They were respectful but curious. Many asked questions about his power. Some were afraid. Others were excited. Taesung tried to be friendly, but the pressure was constant. Jiwoo appointed herself his personal medic. She monitored his health obsessively, running tests, checking his vitals. She discovered more changes. His reflexes were faster, his senses sharper. His body was adapting to contain the growing power inside him. It's like your cells are upgrading themselves, she explained one evening, as they sat in the facility's common area. Your DNA is rewriting itself. You're becoming something new, Am I still human? Taesung asked quietly. Of course you are, Jiwoo said firmly. You're just evolving faster than normal. But you're still you. You still care about others. You still make terrible jokes. You're still the boy who gave me his lunch when I forgot mine in 3rd grade. Taesung smiled at the memory. You were so embarrassed. And you were so kind, Jiwoo said softly. You've always been kind. That won't change no matter how powerful you become. She leaned her head on his shoulder. They sat in comfortable silence. Taesung realized that through all this chaos, Jiwoo had been his constant. His anchor. He didn't know what he would do without her. Era found them like that an hour later. She paused, observing them, then smiled slightly and walked away. She understood. Some bonds transcended species, transcended power. They were simply human. On the 16th day, alarms blared. Daeho's voice came over the speakers. All personnel to stations. We have incoming ships. Kravik vessels breaking Earth's atmosphere. Taesung rushed to the command center with Ara and Jiwoo. The screen showed 3 massive ships descending toward major cities. New York, London, Beijing. They're not attacking, Daeho noted. Just hovering. Demonstrating power. A transmission came through. The voice was strange, like many voices speaking as one. Humans, surrender the resonance bearer to the collective. You have 12 hours to comply. If you refuse, we will take him by force. Resistance will result in the sterilization of your planet. The transmission ended. The command center was silent. Can we fight them? Taesung asked. Maybe, Daeho said. But millions would die. They're over our largest cities. Any battle would devastate the population below. Then we negotiate, someone suggested. They won't negotiate, Ara said. Kraviks don't think like individuals. They are drones controlled by overmind queens. They will take what they want or destroy what denies them. Taesung felt sick. This was because of him. All these people in danger because of him. Then he had an idea. What if we make them unable to find me? Everyone looked at him. Explain, Daeho said. They're tracking my resonance energy, right? What if I make that energy impossible to track? What if I make myself improbable? Ara's eyes widened. You want to use your power on yourself. Make your own existence uncertain. Can he do that? Daeho asked. I don't know, Ara admitted. No one has ever tried. The resonance has always affected external events, not the bearer themselves. I have to try, Taesung said. It's better than war. Jiwoo grabbed his hand. What if something goes wrong? What if you make yourself too improbable and you stop existing? Then you'll find me again, Taesung said, trying to sound more confident than he felt. You always do? They set up in a shielded chamber. Taesung spent 3 days in medical recovery. His stunt with the Kravik ships had pushed his power beyond safe limits. Jiwoo barely left his side, monitoring every vital sign with worried eyes. Your brain activity is still elevated, she said, studying readouts. It's like you ran a marathon with your mind. You need rest. I don't have time to rest, and Taesung argued. The Kraviks will come back. And you'll be useless if you burn yourself out, Jiwoo countered. Let your body heal. Ara visited each day, bringing updates. The situation was growing more complex. The Velrothian Empire had sent an ambassador, demanding Ara's return and Taesung's surrender. The Assyri Dominion was offering Earth technological advancement in exchange for temporary custody of the resonance bearer. They all speak of peace while preparing for war, Ara said grimly. I know these powers. They will not wait forever. On the 4th day, Taesung was cleared to resume training, but Ara changed her approach. Instead of drilling physical techniques, she focused on philosophy. You are thinking of your power as a weapon, she said. This is wrong. Weapons are external. They can be taken away. Your power is part of you, like breathing. You must understand it, not just use it. They sat in meditation for hours. Ara taught him Velrathian mental techniques passed down for millennia. Feel the flow of probability. Do not force it, guide it. Like steering a river, not damming it. Slowly, Taesung began to understand. His power was not about making impossible things happen. It was about helping likely things happen more easily and unlikely things become possible. He was not breaking reality. He was nudging it. Better, Ara said when he successfully guided a falling object to land exactly where he wanted. You are learning control. Captain Daeho brought news that changed everything. The UN Security Council has made a decision. We're going public. About aliens? Jiwoo asked, shocked. About everything. The ships in orbit are being noticed. Social media is exploding with sightings. We can't hide this anymore. Tomorrow, the Secretary General will address the world. We'll reveal the truth about alien life, about the situation, and about you. Tae-sung felt his stomach drop. About me, everyone will know? We'll protect your identity as much as possible. But yes, humanity needs to know what's at stake. That we have a defender, a protector with unique abilities. I'm not ready for that, Tae-sung said. None of us are, Dae-ho admitted. But it's happening. The question is, will you stand with us when we make the announcement? Tae-sung looked at Ji-woo, then at Ara. Both nodded encouragingly. He took a deep breath. Yes, I'll stand with you. The next day, the world changed. The UN Secretary General appeared before the global media, flanked by military leaders from every major nation. Behind them, holographic displays showed ships in orbit. People of Earth, the Secretary General began. Today I confirm what many have suspected. We are not alone in the universe. Intelligent alien life exists and they are here. The announcement sent shockwaves around the globe. Some people panicked. Others celebrated. Religious leaders debated. Scientists rejoiced. The entire planet was in uproar. Then came the second revelation. These alien powers seek one human being, a young man with an extraordinary gift, a gift that could change the balance of power in the galaxy. We have chosen to protect him, to stand together as one species against external threats. Tae-sung watched the broadcast from Sanctuary 1, his hands shaking. His face was not shown, his name not revealed, but millions now knew he existed. How do you feel? Ji-woo asked softly. Terrified, Tae-sung admitted. But also, less alone. Before it was just us against everything. Now it's humanity, all of us together. The alien powers responded swiftly. The Velrathian Empire sent a message praising Earth's courage, but warning that protection would require sacrifice. The Kravik Collective threatened immediate invasion. The Osiri Dominion offered a formal alliance but with conditions that were clearly exploitative. They're all posturing, Ara explained. Testing your resolve, seeing if you'll break. Dae-ho assembled his best strategist. We need leverage, something to make them think twice about attacking. Ideas? We could reveal our defensive capabilities, someone suggested. Show we're not helpless. That reveals our hand, another argued. Better to keep them guessing. Tae-sung had an idea. What if we show them I'm not alone? That there might be others like me? Everyone turned to him. Are there others? Dae-ho asked, I don't know. But Ji-woo said my DNA is changing. What if exposure to my power to alien technology is triggering something in other humans? What if we're all capable of evolving? Ji-woo's eyes widened. That's actually possible. The human genome has massive amounts of unused DNA. Evolutionary. Potential waiting for the right trigger. If the aliens believe humanity itself is awakening, Ara said slowly, they will be far more cautious. Attacking one powerful human is risky. Attacking a species of potentially powerful beings is foolish. They began testing. Volunteers who had been near Tae-sung during his training were examined. To everyone's shock, several showed minor changes. One soldier could hear radio frequencies. A scientist's reflexes had tripled. A medic reported seeing strange energy fields around people. The changes were small, nothing like Tae-sung's power. But they were real. Humanity was changing. We need to accelerate this, Dae-ho said. Train more people near Tae-sung. See if we can trigger more awakenings. Over the next 3 weeks, Tae-sung trained with 50 volunteers. They meditated together, practiced together, pushed their limits together. And slowly, more changes appeared. Park Soo-jin, a quantum physicist, developed the ability to sense probability like Tae-sung did, though much weaker. She could feel likely outcomes before they happened. A soldier named Kim Han-sol found he could make himself incredibly lucky in combat. Bullets seemed to miss him. His shots seemed to find targets. A doctor named Lee Min-ji discovered she could sense health problems in people before they manifested, feeling the probability of illness. None were as powerful as Tae-sung. But together, they represented something new. Homo sapiens was evolving. This is incredible, Ji-woo breathed, studying the data. You're not a unique mutation. You're the first, the catalyst. Your power is spreading, evolving others. Is this dangerous? Tae-sung asked. Are we changing too fast? Maybe, Ji-woo admitted. But I think it's also necessary. We're facing threats we're not equipped for. Evolution is how species survive. You're helping our species adapt. Ara watched the training sessions with mixed emotions. I have fought for 30 years, she told Tae-sung one evening. I have seen countless species and civilizations, but I have never seen anything like this. You are witnessing the birth of something entirely new. Are you worried? Tae-sung asked. That humans might become too powerful? No, Era said. Because power without wisdom is just destruction. And you, all of you are choosing to use this for protection, for defense. That gives me hope. She paused, then said something surprising. I have received new orders from the Velrathian Empress. She demands my immediate return. My family has been placed under house arrest until I comply. Tae-sung felt cold. Your family? Because of me? Because I chose honor over obedience, Era corrected. This is my decision. My consequence. What will you do? Ara looked at him with those strange, beautiful eyes. I will stay. I have watched you train 50 humans to defend their world. I have seen courage I rarely encounter in the galaxy. My family would understand. They raised me to choose honor. This is honor. The Empire will declare you a traitor, Tae-sung said. Yes, Ara agreed calmly. But I will be a traitor who sleeps well. That is worth more than empty loyalty. Jiwoo joined them carrying medical readouts. We have a problem. Tae-sung's power is still growing. Faster than before. I think training all these people is feeding back into him. He's becoming a nexus point. What does that mean? Tae-sung asked. It means you're not just affecting probability anymore. You're becoming a focal point where probability concentrates. Reality bends around you naturally now, not just when you use your power. Is that dangerous? I don't know, Jiwoo said honestly. We're in completely unknown territory. That night, Tae-sung couldn't sleep. He stood on the facility's observation deck, looking at the stars through the mountain opening above. Somewhere up there, 3 alien empires plotted and schemed, and down here humanity scrambled to prepare for a war they never asked for. Jiwoo found him there. She didn't say anything, just stood beside him. After a while, she took his hand. I'm scared, Tae-sung admitted. Me too, Jiwoo said. But we're scared together. That helps. What if I can't do this? What if I'm not strong enough? Then we'll get stronger together, Jiwoo said firmly. You're not alone in this. You never were. Tae-sung squeezed her hand. He realized that somewhere in the chaos of the past weeks, his feelings for Jiwoo had deepened. She was not just his childhood friend anymore. She was his anchor, his reason to keep fighting. Jiwoo, he began, I need to tell you something. She looked at him, her eyes reflecting starlight. I know, she said softly. I feel it too. But let's survive this first, then we can talk about us. She kissed his cheek and walked away, leaving Tae-sung alone with his thoughts and his groan. The message came at dawn. Not through communication systems, but written in the sky itself. Massive letters formed in the clouds above every major city, glowing with unnatural light. Earth. Final warning. Surrender the resonance. You have 24 hours. All 3 alien powers had signed it. They were united now. That terrified Daeho more than anything else. They've never agreed on anything before, he said at the emergency briefing. Now they're working together. That means they're more afraid of humanity than they are of each other. Good, Tae-sung said. His voice was different now, stronger, more confident. Fear means respect. Ara nodded approvingly. You are learning. The past month had changed Tae-sung. His training had intensified. His power had grown. He could now affect probability on a massive scale. During tests, he had made it rain in a desert simulation, had made 1,000 coin flips all land on the same side, had even once made a bullet travel in a curve to avoid a target. But there was a cost. His eyes sometimes glowed with silver light. His hair had started changing, streaks of white appearing overnight. Jiwoo worried constantly, but her tests showed he was healthy. Just different. More than human now. The 50 volunteers he had trained were also changed. They called themselves the Probability Guard. Each had developed unique abilities related to chance and likelihood. Together they could create fields of altered probability that disrupted enemy sensors and weapons. Our best analysts say we have a 60% chance of surviving an attack, Daeho reported. Those are not good odds. 60% is better than 0, Park Soo-jin said. She could now predict outcomes minutes in advance, giving them a strategic advantage. And that's before Tae-sung tips the scales. We need to show strength, Tae-sung said. They gave us 24 hours. Let's use it to demonstrate we're not afraid. What do you suggest? Daeho asked. We bring me to the surface. In public. Let them see I'm not hiding. Let humanity see their defender stands with them. That's insanely dangerous, Jiwoo protested. They'll try to take you. Let them try, Taesung said. His eyes flashed silver. I'm ready. 6 hours later, a platform was erected in Seoul's city center. Cameras from every nation pointed at it. Billions watched online. Taesung stood at the center, flanked by Ara and the probability guard. Daeho stood beside him in full military dress. The people of Seoul had not been evacuated. They filled the streets, thousands of them holding signs. Some said, "Protect Earth." Others said, "We stand together." Many simply showed the Korean flag beside drawings of other national flags. Unity. Taesung stepped to the microphone. He was terrified, but he didn't let it show. He thought of Jiwoo watching from the command center. He thought of his parents evacuated to safety. He thought of every human being on the planet depending on him. My name is Lee Taesung, he said. His voice boomed across the plaza, transmitted worldwide. I am the person the aliens seek. I am the resonance bearer. Murmurs ran through the crowd. Some people cheered. Others gasped. I am not a weapon, Taesung continued. I am not a prize to be won. I am a human being. And I choose to stand with humanity, not serve alien empires. He paused, letting his words sink in. You gave us 24 hours. Here is our answer. No, we do not surrender. We do not submit. Earth is under our protection now. If you want war, you will have it. But know this, humanity does not fight alone anymore. He raised his hand and probability shifted. The sky above Seoul changed. Clouds formed impossible patterns. Lightning struck in synchronized bursts, creating a display of power that lit up the morning sky. It was beautiful and terrifying. Then one by one, the probability guard raised their hands, 50 people, each adding their small power to his. The display intensified. Reality bent visibly around them. We are evolving, Taesung said. This is just the beginning. In time, all humanity may share this gift. You can conquer us, maybe. But can you conquer a species where every member can bend reality, where every human is a probability storm? He lowered his hand. The sky returned to normal. 24 hours. That's how long you have to withdraw peacefully. After that, we will defend ourselves. And we will not be gentle. The transmission ended. Taesung stepped back, suddenly exhausted. Ara caught him. Well done, she murmured. You just declared war on 3 empires. Did I go too far? Taesung asked weakly. No, Ara said. You went exactly far enough. Now we see if they respect courage or punish it. The answer came faster than expected. The Osiri Dominion withdrew their ships immediately. A message followed. The Dominion respects Earth's sovereignty. We withdraw our claim and offer trade negotiations. They're merchants, Ara explained. They calculated war is too expensive. Better to profit from peace. But the other 2 powers did not withdraw. The Velrothian Empire sent their response through Ara's communication device. It was the Empress herself, appearing as a hologram. She was magnificent, taller than Ara, covered in ceremonial armor that glowed with power. Her voice was cold authority. Commander Ara, you are declared traitor to the Empire. Your family has been stripped of honor, and you will be hunted until captured or killed. I accept your judgment, Ara said calmly. I have chosen my path. The Empress's eyes narrowed. And you, human. You speak brave words, but you are children playing with power you do not understand. The Empire respects strength. Prove yours. Single combat. You against our champion. If you win, we withdraw. If you lose, you surrender yourself. No, Daeho said immediately. We don't agree to— I accept, Taesung interrupted. Everyone stared at him. Are you insane? Jiwoo said over the communication link. You're not a warrior. But I am lucky, Taesung said. And luck might be enough. The Kravik Collective's response was simpler, no words. Just 3 of their ships breaking formation and descending toward major cities. Beijing, Moscow, New York. They're attacking, Daeho said. All units, defensive positions. This is not a drill. The Kravik ships opened fire, but not on cities, on military installations. Bases around the world exploded. Satellites were destroyed. In minutes, half of Earth's defensive network was crippled. They're clearing the way for invasion, Ara said. This is a hive attack pattern. They will land troops within the hour. Can we stop them? Daeho demanded. Not with conventional weapons, Ara said. But Taesung with the probability guard. You might create a defense field. Make their landing improbable. How large a field? Taesung asked. Planetary scale, Era said. Everyone fell silent. That was impossible. Even Taesung's power had limits. I'll help, Park Soo-jin said. All 50 of us. We'll feed our power into you. That could kill you all, Ji-woo warned. The feedback could burn out your minds. Then it does, Kim Han-sol said. Better than letting Earth fall. Taesung looked at the 50 volunteers who had trained with him. They were afraid, he could see it. But they were determined. They had families, friends, lives worth protecting. Okay, Taesung said. Let's save the world. They formed a circle in the plaza. Thousands of Seoul's citizens watched, not understanding but sensing something important. Taesung stood at the center, the probability guard surrounding him. Link to me, he told them. Pour your power into mine. Trust me to guide it. One by one, they reached out with their minds. Taesung felt their presence, their small flames of probability power. He gathered them, wove them together, and amplified them through his own blazing core. The power built. Reality began to shimmer around them. Cameras capturing the scene showed impossible things. People flickering between positions, objects existing and not existing simultaneously, the laws of physics becoming suggestions. Above, the Kravik ships began their landing sequence. Thousands of drop pods launched toward Earth's surface. Taesung reached up with his mind, extending his field across the planet. He felt the pods, felt their trajectories, felt the probability of their success. And he shifted it. Drop pods veered off course. Some collided with each other. Others simply missed Earth entirely, passing by as if the planet wasn't quite where they expected. Some even reversed course, returning to the motherships in defiance of physics. The Kravik hive mind reacted with confusion. This was not possible. Their calculations were perfect, but perfection meant nothing against probability manipulation. Taesung pushed harder. Blood ran from his nose. His eyes blazed pure silver. Around him, the probability guard was screaming, but they held on. Power poured through them like fire. Taesung, Ji-woo's voice over the radio. Your readings are critical.
Stop, you're burning out!
But Taesung didn't stop. He extended his field further. Made Earth itself improbable to attack. Any weapon fired at the planet simply missed or malfunctioned, or decided against all logic to target something else. The Kravik ships tried to retreat but found their engines failing. One ship's navigation suddenly decided orbit was actually inside Earth's atmosphere. It began to fall, burning up on re-entry. The other two ships managed emergency jumps, fleeing to deep space. Earth was safe. Taesung collapsed. The probability guard fell around him. Medical teams rushed in. Ji-woo reached him first, checking his pulse with shaking hands. He's alive, she said, relief flooding her voice. They all are, barely. Daeho stood in the plaza, looking at the 50 unconscious people who had just Taesung woke 3 days later. The first thing he saw was Ji-woo, asleep in a chair beside his bed, her hand holding his. She looked exhausted, dark circles under her eyes. How long? He asked, his voice rough. Ji-woo jerked awake. Taesung. She checked his vitals immediately, falling into doctor mode. 3 days. You've been unconscious for 3 days. Your brain activity was so high we thought you might never wake up. The others? The probability guard? All alive. All recovering. Park Soo-jin woke yesterday. Kim Han-sol this morning. You were the last. And the Kraviks? Gone, fled to deep space. The UN is calling it humanity's first victory in interstellar warfare. Ji-woo's expression turned serious. But Taesung, something happened to you. Your readings are off the charts. You're different now. Taesung sat up. He felt strange. Like his body was slightly out of sync with reality. When he moved his hand, he could see probability trails following it. Multiple possible positions his hand might take, all visible at once. I can see it now, he said. Awed. Probability. It's everywhere. Every person, every object surrounded by clouds of possibility. That's not all, Ji-woo said. She brought up a holographic display. While you were unconscious, you were still affecting reality. Random, impossible things kept happening around you. A plant grew from concrete. A light bulb that wasn't connected to power turned on. Time moved slower in your room than outside. I was doing that? Unconsciously. Your power is no longer something you do. It's something you are. You're becoming a living probability engine. Before Taesung could respond, Ara entered. She looked relieved to see him awake. Finally. We have problems. What kind of problems? The Velrathian kind. The Empress's champion has arrived. She's demanding the single combat match. Immediately. Taesung stood, though his legs were shaky. I need to train, prepare. No time, Aura said. She's already planetside. Landed in Seoul 2 hours ago. She's waiting in the plaza where you made your announcement. Very dramatic. Who is she? Era's expression darkened. Her name is Kira. She was my mentor. The finest warrior the Empire has produced in 3 centuries. Taesung, she is death itself in physical form. I have seen her defeat 20 opponents simultaneously without taking a hit. Can I beat her? Taesung asked. Aura hesitated. With your power, maybe. But she knows about probability manipulation. She will have trained to counter it. This will not be easy. An hour later, Taesung stood in the same plaza, now cleared of civilians. Cameras still recorded, but from a safe distance. Daeho had wanted to evacuate the entire district, but Kira had insisted on a public fight. The Velrothian champion stood across from him. She was shorter than Ara, more compact. Her armor was deep red, almost black, and covered in symbols Taesung couldn't read. 2 curved blades hung at her sides, and her eyes were the coldest thing he had ever seen. Lee Taesung, Kira said. Her Korean was perfect. I am Kira of the Red Blade. I come offering honor. Single combat. You win. The Velrathian Empire withdraws all claims. I win, you come with me. And if I refuse? Taesung asked. Then we invade. Your power is impressive, but you cannot hold a planetary defense forever. Eventually, you will sleep. And we will take you. Taesung looked at Daeho, who nodded grimly. They had no choice. I accept, Kira smiled. It was not a kind smile. Good, you have courage. I will try to leave you alive, but I make no promises. She drew her blades. They hummed with energy, glowing with the same silver light as Ara's weapons. Begin when ready. Taesung did not carry weapons. He didn't know how to use them. His only defense was his power and his training. He reached out with his senses, feeling the probability fields around Kira, and found nothing. She was a blank spot. No probability, no possibilities. Just cold certainty. Surprised? Kira asked. I have trained for 40 years to clear my mind of uncertainty. To be absolutely certain in every action. Your power cannot touch me. I am inevitable. She attacked. Her speed was inhuman. One moment she stood across the plaza. The next she was in front of Taesung, blade slicing toward his throat. Taesung's power reacted instinctively. The ground beneath Kira suddenly cracked, making her stumble. Her blade missed by a hair, but she adapted instantly. As she stumbled, she turned it into a roll, coming up with a second strike from a different angle. Taesung dodged, but barely. The blade cut his shirt, missing skin by millimeters. He tried to make her blade malfunction, tried to shift probability in his favor, but Kira's absolute certainty deflected his power like armor. You rely too much on your gift, Kira said, pressing her attack. What will you do when it fails? She was right. Taesung was losing. Every strike came closer. His power could affect the environment, but not Kira herself. He made a streetlight fall toward her, but she cut through it without slowing. He made the ground slippery, but her footing never wavered. Then he remembered Ara's lessons. Control is an illusion. Flow is reality. He stopped trying to control Kira. Instead, he let himself flow. Stopped thinking, stopped calculating. Just moved, trusting his enhanced instincts and his power working unconsciously. The difference was immediate. He started dodging attacks he shouldn't have been able to see. Started moving into positions that somehow left Kira's strikes barely missing. Not because he was making her miss, but because he was making himself lucky. Better, Kira acknowledged. You are learning, but not fast enough. She accelerated, her blades moving in patterns too fast to follow. Taesung felt his luck reaching its limits. A blade cut his shoulder. Another grazed his leg. Blood flowed and pain sharpened his focus. In the command center, Jiwoo watched in horror. He's losing. We have to stop this. We cannot, Ara said grimly. To interfere would dishonor the combat. The Empire would invade immediately. Then he needs to win, Daeho said. Come on, Taesung. Find a way. In the plaza, Taesung was backed against a building. Kira approached slowly, confidently. You fought well. Better than expected. But this ends now. Taesung's mind raced. He couldn't affect Kira directly. Couldn't make her uncertain. But what if he didn't need to? He reached out with his power not at Kira but at everything else. The air, the light, the ground, reality itself. He didn't try to control it. He just made everything around Kira extremely, incredibly, impossibly uncertain. The air shimmered. Light bent in strange ways. Gravity seemed to forget which direction was down. The plaza became a zone of pure chaos, where physics were suggestions and reality was negotiable. Kira stumbled, not because she was uncertain, but because the ground beneath her literally couldn't decide if it was solid or liquid. She slashed at Tae-sung, but the air between them was so uncertain that her blade traveled in a curve, missing completely. "Clever," Kira said, struggling to maintain balance. "But chaos exhausts you. You cannot maintain this." She was right. Tae-sung could feel his power burning through his reserves. Creating this much uncertainty was like holding up a mountain, but he only needed a moment. He ran forward, straight at Kira. She raised her blades, but in the chaos zone, her perfect certainty became a weakness. She was committed to her strike, absolutely certain of where Tae-sung would be. But in a zone of pure chaos, certainty meant nothing. Tae-sung wasn't where he should be. He was where probability decided he might be, which was 3 feet to the left of expected. His fist connected with Kira's jaw. It was not a strong punch. Tae-sung was not a fighter, but in that moment, probability made it the luckiest punch ever thrown. It hit the exact nerve cluster that caused temporary paralysis. Kira froze, her body locked. She fell to one knee, unable to move. Tae-sung stood over her, breathing hard. "I win." The plaza was silent. Then slowly applause began. First from the probability guard watching from the sidelines, then from Daeho's soldiers, then from the citizens of Seoul watching from beyond the safety barriers. Kira's paralysis faded. She stood, testing her jaw. Then, to everyone's surprise, she bowed. "I am defeated. Fairly, by the rules of single combat. The Empire will honor its word." She looked at Tae-sung with new respect. "You did not beat me with power alone. You beat me with intelligence, with adaptation. These are warrior virtues. The Empire may have lost this combat, but I have found something valuable. Proof that honor exists beyond our borders." She turned to Ara. "Commander, I will report that you chose the path of honor. Your family's shame will be lessened." "Thank you, Kira," Ara said softly. Kira activated her transport, and in a shimmer of light, she was gone. Moments later, the Velrathian fleet began withdrawing from Earth's orbit. Tae-sung collapsed. Medical teams rushed forward, but Jiwoo reached him first. "That was the stupidest, bravest thing I've ever seen," she said, tears in her eyes. "Did it work?" Tae-sung asked weakly. "Yes, you idiot. You just made an interstellar empire back down. Through single combat. Do you know how insane that is?" Tae-sung smiled. "Pretty insane. But it worked." As they carried him to medical, he looked up at the sky. 2 of the 3 alien powers had now withdrawn. The Kraviks were in deep space, afraid to return. The Velrathians had retreated with honor. Only the Osiri remained, and they wanted trade, not war. Earth had won. Against all odds, humanity had claimed its place in the galaxy. But Tae-sung knew this was just the beginning. Other powers would come. Other challenges would arise. His power 6 months passed. Earth changed in ways no one had predicted. The alien withdrawal had sparked a global revolution. Governments could no longer hide the truth. Humanity knew it was not alone, knew that power existed beyond imagination, and knew that evolution was possible. Tae-sung stood on the balcony of the UN building in New York, looking out at a transformed world. Flying vehicles based on Velrathian technology moved through the air. Buildings used Osiri energy systems, and everywhere humans were changing. The probability guard had grown to 200 members. Each person who spent time near Tae-sung seemed to develop some small ability. Nothing like his power, but enough to matter. Humanity was awakening just as he had predicted. "Penny for your thoughts?" Jiwoo said, joining him on the balcony. She looked different too. Healthier. Stronger. Spending so much time studying enhanced humans had begun to change her as well. She could now sense biological probability, predicting illnesses before they manifested. She had saved dozens of lives. "I'm thinking about how much has changed," Tae-sung said. 6 months ago, I was just a programmer. Now I'm humanity's liaison to the galaxy. Ambassador Lee Tae-sung, Jiwoo teased, has a nice ring to it. The UN had created a new position, Galactic Relations Ambassador. Tae-sung had been the obvious choice. Who better to speak for humanity than the person who had defended it? "I still don't feel qualified," Tae-sung admitted. Nobody is qualified for something that's never been done before, Jiwoo said. You just do your best and hope it's enough. Movement behind them made them turn. Ara entered looking as imposing as ever in her armor. But she smiled now, something she rarely did 6 months ago. The Osiri delegation has arrived, she reported. They're ready for the trade negotiations. Ara had stayed on Earth, accepting asylum. The Velrathian Empire had declared her an exile, but Kira had been true to her word. Ara's family had been spared the worst punishment. They were alive and safe, even if dishonored. I will never regret my choice, Ara had told Taesung once. I have found more honor here, defending the weak and nurturing the new than I ever found in conquest. She had become Earth's military advisor, training soldiers in advanced combat techniques. More than that, she had become family, a friend who had given up everything to stand with them. The negotiations with the Osiri went well. They were merchants, interested in profit, not domination. Earth had things they wanted: art, music, culture. The galaxy had been unified for so long that most species had forgotten creativity. Human chaos was valuable precisely because it was unique. In exchange, the Osiri offered technology, medical advances, and most importantly, knowledge, star maps, information about other species, the politics of the galaxy. Earth was no longer isolated. They were joining a community of thousands of worlds. Park Soo-jin had made a breakthrough. Working with Osiri scientists, she had developed the first human-designed faster-than-light drive. It used probability manipulation as its core principle, making ships exist in multiple locations simultaneously until observation collapsed them to the desired destination. We're calling it the resonance drive, she explained to the council. It only works with a probability manipulator on board. But we now have 200 trained operators. We can build a fleet. Captain Daeho, now General Daeho after his promotion, oversaw the construction of Earth's first space fleet, 50 ships, each crewed by humans and equipped with the new technology, not just for defense but for exploration. Humanity is ready to take its place among the stars, Daeho said at the fleet's launching ceremony. Not as conquerors, but as explorers. As friends, as equals. Taesung attended the ceremony with Jiwoo. They watched the ships launch, disappearing in flashes of silver light as they jumped to other systems. It was beautiful and terrifying. Do you ever regret it? Jiwoo asked. That day the Kraviks attacked your apartment? Sometimes I wish we could go back to simple times. Taesung considered this. Sometimes, but then I think about what we've accomplished, what humanity has become. We're better now, stronger, more united than ever in history. That's worth the sacrifice. Jiwoo took his hand. Over the past months, their relationship had deepened. They were together now officially. It felt natural, like it had always been meant to happen. I have something to tell you, Jiwoo said nervously. I've been offered a position on the first deep space medical research vessel. 6-month mission to study alien biology and help establish human colonies on new worlds. Taesung felt his heart sink. 6 months? I know it's a long time, and I'll understand if you want me to stay. But Taesung, this is my chance to help humanity expand, to use everything I've learned. Taesung pulled her close. Of course you should go. You're brilliant, and they need you. I'll miss you every day, but I'm proud of you. Jiwoo hugged him tightly. I love you. You know that, right? I love you too, Taesung said. Always have. Even when we were kids and I didn't know how to say it. They stood together watching the stars, knowing that soon she would be among them. A week later, an unexpected visitor arrived. A Kravik drone, but not a warrior. A diplomat. The hive mind had never sent diplomats before. The drone was smaller than the warriors, its armor white instead of black. It spoke in that strange multi-voice. The collective has analyzed the conflict. We have concluded that humanity represents an evolutionary path we cannot match. We propose a treaty. Non-aggression and information exchange. Daeho was skeptical. Why should we trust you? You tried to invade us. Because the collective values efficiency above pride. War with humanity is inefficient. Cooperation is logical. You possess something we need. Creativity, unpredictability, innovation. These are things the hive mind cannot naturally produce. We offer our strengths in exchange: organization, coordination, computational power. The treaty was signed after weeks of negotiation. The Kravik Collective became Earth's most unlikely ally. They helped build infrastructure, coordinated massive projects, and provided tactical analysis. In exchange, humans helped them think in new ways, breaking the rigid patterns of hive mind thinking. One Kravik drone even requested to stay permanently on Earth. I have experienced individual thought, it explained. The hive allows me to explore this. Am I curious, is that the correct word? Yes, Taesung said, amused. That's exactly the right word. The drone took a name, Sukhi. It was the first Kravik to ever name itself, the beginning of something new for the collective. The Velrothian Empire remained distant but respectful. Kira visited occasionally, always bringing news of Ara's family. They were slowly regaining honor through public service and military distinction. The Empress is changing, Kira told them during one visit. She sees what Earth has accomplished, how you have united different species through cooperation instead of conquest. It challenges our assumptions. Perhaps the Empire will change too, Ara suggested. Perhaps, Kira agreed. Honor evolves, as it should. On the 6-month anniversary of the Kravik attack, Earth held its first Galactic Unity Festival. Species from 12 different worlds attended. Art, music, food, and culture were shared. It was chaotic and messy and perfectly human. Taesung walked through the festival with Ara, sampling foods from across the galaxy. Some were delicious. Others were horrifying. But it was all fascinating. You have accomplished something remarkable, Ara said. In 6 months, you have turned Earth from an isolated world to a galactic hub. How did you do it? I didn't, Taesung said. We did, all of us together. That's humanity's real power. Not just my probability manipulation, but our ability to work together, to adapt, to welcome others. A young girl approached them. She was perhaps 8 years old, with the telltale silver streaks in her hair that marked probability sensitivity. Ambassador Lee?
Can you teach me?
I can make coins land on heads sometimes. My mom says you can help. Taesung knelt to her level. What's your name? Kim Sunhee. Well, Sunhee, I run classes every week. You and your mom should come. We'll teach you to control your gift. The girl beamed and ran back to her mother. Taesung stood, feeling the weight and the wonder of what was happening. Children were being born with abilities now. The next generation of humanity would be even more extraordinary. That evening, Taesung stood on the same plaza where he had fought Kira. A monument had been erected there, commemorating humanity's first galactic conflict and victory. It showed a human figure surrounded by others representing unity. Jiwoo's ship was leaving tomorrow for deep space. Daeho was overseeing the expansion of the Probability Guard to 1,000 members. Park Soo-jin was developing even more advanced technology. The world was moving forward at incredible speed. But Taesung felt at peace. He had gone from an ordinary man to humanity's defender, had discovered powers beyond imagination, had fought aliens, made alliances, and changed the course of history. His power was still growing. Some days, reality bent around him without him even trying. He could see probability streams flowing through the world like rivers of light. He was becoming something new, something beyond human classification. But he was still Lee Taesung, still the boy who helped his neighbor carry groceries, still the man who loved his friends, still human despite everything. A message came through on his communicator.